I'm not going to have a show where at the beginning I say I never was comfortable eating crackers, and then at the very end of the show I say, and then I ate a cracker.
Welcome to But Also, a podcast about culture,
but also
politics,
but also
whatever we want. Our guest today is the hilarious Gary Gulman, one of the best guys in the world, one of the funniest guys in the world, and one of the tallest. You know him from his millions of comedy specials, and he's taping his new one in Tribeca on October 24th. It is Grandiloquent. It is for HBO, and you should come check out that taping. And if you do, say hi. We'll be there. It's a great episode. Stick around.
Love you. You must have been asked to do gigs for extremely rich people at some point. Has anyone ever said, like, would you perform at my daughter's quinceañera or something? I'll pay you $50,000.
I mean, not like that, but I did a show in Mexico for a very rich person, his company or whatever. And there's no... Yeah, and it just felt terrible.
Was the gig really itself hard. Fun? Like, did they like it?
The gig was horrible. They hated it, except for the two people who owned the company. and I was like, oh my gosh, I've prostituted my work.
Do you think that's generational? The reason I ask is because I feel like I grew up
Gen Xer, right?
Or even or millennials. I feel like there was this idea of selling out. I remember when Bob Dylan did a Victoria's Secret commercial. And at the time, I think it was universally received as this was a bad thing for an artist to do. And I think if Benson Boone did a Victoria's Secret commercial now, I don't think a single fan of his would feel anything but fine about it. And I feel like it's just generational, that the idea of selling out is no longer a thing.
But I also think Dylan is like countercultural, whereas Benson Boone is like completely on the wave.
Well, who would be let's say like...
Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know who... There was a guy who did Colbert who's like really big on TikTok and Instagram and stuff and performed with a big American flag behind him.
Oh, yeah, guitar player.
Yeah. Who's very like, against anti-capitalist kind of Midwestern or maybe Southern guy.
Yeah,
and I feel like
right.
in those situations when your deal is like anti-capitalism, it is hard when it's like, whatever, brought to you by Huggies.
I think there's an element of that. But I remember even the band Of Montreal, which I don't know if you listened to Of Montreal.
Have you heard of that? So now we don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well. So there's this band Of Montreal. It was like an indie rock band in the early 2000s, kind of like Pitchfork would give them A's on their albums, that kind of band.
Wow. Okay.
But I remember when they sold their song to a commercial or something, and people accused them of selling out. And I remember at the time they were like, "This is like, we don't pay our rent from album sales. Like, this is already album sales are kind of not becoming a thing." But they weren't. Their brand wasn't, "We are anti-corporate America." It wasn't like Rage Against the Machine. It was just like a band. Yeah. So I feel like I think it's both. I think it's both.
You think it's both?
I think it's both.
I've read recently that the idea of being a sellout or not being a sellout is a remnant of the Gen X.
You read my blog.
Maybe.
You think it's particular to our age group?
Yeah.
Huh. Because since then nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
And before then, nobody cared either.
Yeah, I know my family would not understand me turning down certain things because of the
associations.
The associations. Yeah.
What have you turned down? You don't have to say.
Please say. Please. You don't have to, but if you did, it'd be so.
Any kind of commercial where I'm like selling a product.
Yeah.
Like there was one where I forget what it was selling. Maybe those razors or something like that, and I would have to be in a bathtub, and I was like, it's not fun. It's not, or maybe the man who they showed me doing a commercial for it was in a bathtub, and I was just like, oh no, I'm not going to do a commercial. Or when they ask, do you want to promote our product on your Instagram or something? I'm like, no, I don't want to sell anybody. I love that thing from Say Anything that John Cusack said, I don't want to process any bought or produced. That whole thing. I love that. That is kind of part of my extended theory on selling out or anything like that. I mean, sometimes it seems so tacky to say, hey, I generally put comedy clips up here, but now I'd like to sell you a belt. Ugh.
But have you ever been tempted by it?
No.
So there's no amount of money. There's some amount of money.
No, I always say there's no amount of
really
money.
That's beautiful.
And how literally true is that?
Well, we're just so cynical we can't imagine what you're saying seems impossible.
There are certain things that there's literally no amount of money.
Certain products.
Certain things, and that there's literally no amount of money, and then there's things that are like, you could not possibly have the amount of money necessary for me to do this. I guess I'm in a good position where nobody's going to pay me $1 million to do anything, so I can say that there's no amount of money. But I guess for $1 million, but there are things that even for $1 million or 10 million, the way I figure right now, I have everything I need. There's nothing that I think, I would like to have that. I have an apartment. I have a 2020 Civic Hybrid.
I thought you were going to say 2020 Vision.
I just got 2020 Vision.
You just got it? What do you mean?
Yeah, I had a lens put into this eye that gives me 2020 vision.
Wait, what do you mean? It's like a LASIK thing or something else? What do you mean you had a lens put in your eye?
Why don't we all know about this? If this
because
is possible?
Very few of us get cataracts until it's like in our 70s or 80s. So I had one, and then they were like, "There's this thing where we replace your lens, and part of it is covered by insurance, and then the amount of money." It was like, well, I've spent that much on glasses over the past 10 years, and so I'll never have to wear glasses again. And then you do it, and it feels like a miracle, because I'm not lying that at 9 a.m. I couldn't see out of one eye, and then by noon I could see perfectly with a little halo when the lights came on, and then that disappeared within 24 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was, if you didn't know that it wasn't a miracle, you would think this is a miracle.
So it's not even that, it's not
invasive.
inpatient, you're not sleeping in the hospital.
I was not knocked out. I was awake the entire time. They numb my eye, obviously, but I was awake the entire time and was able to follow the...
So why don't we all do this instead of LASIK? Because I've looked into LASIK before, and I'm scared of the whatever 0.05% of people who need drops for their whole life or whatever. Like, is this less risky or as risky?
It seems like it.
I got to get cataracts.
So what if someone gave you...
You don't have to get cataracts. You would just have to pay, I think, out of pocket, because it's not...
No, I don't want to do that.
Because it's not... You don't have...
Maybe if I sell a couple belts on Instagram.
What if your eye surgeon said, "I'll give you $50,000 to plug me on your Instagram"?
I would say, listen, I'll do it for free.
Gary, what are you doing? It's $50K.
He has everything he needs. He can see 2020.
I don't feel like, at this point at least, mixing, hey, here's some free clips of me, come see my shows, which is really, I'm advertising for my shows, right?
Yeah.
And then advertising for a product, it just feels really gross.
All right, fine. I guess you really have beliefs.
Have you turned down product stuff?
I don't have enough followers to be offering me stuff there. But I've turned down some gigs and stuff, or like, being in this, nothing recently I can think of, but like small commercial gigs or whatever. But mostly because there wasn't enough money. I've never been offered a sum of money to promote something that I thought was like unethical.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the only one I've done is Palantir.
All your cartoons are written. You use.
They're all it's subtle, but they're all I guess a gentle nod to whatever Palantir wants me to say.
People don't know this about your process, but a drone actually draws all this.
It's awesome, and shout out Palantir for coming up with that tech. No, I think I turned down. Weight Watchers wanted me to do cartoons that were. I think I was going to have relative freedom, but the subject matter was going to be weight loss, and I thought, well. I don't know. It seems like a tricky area.
You asked me about this. What did I say? Did I say do it, or did I say don't do it?
My guess is you said do it.
I should. Fuck you.
No, I think you did.
We should look back at the text. But it is also kind of funny for Weight Watchers. Isn't it a little insulting for Weight Watchers? Just on its forgetting the morality of it. Is it possibly? Does it make you feel like? For Weight Watchers to reach out to you and say, "Hey, you think you'd be a perfect spokesperson for us?"
Well, they were worried that it was going to conflict with my non-compete with Palantir, but I ended up turning it down because I didn't want to like wade into. I don't know. It felt like kind of a tricky area.
Wait,
Would you
I want to continue this conversation, but I do want to see what I told you to do.
I think if I have used Weight Watchers, and it did help me.
That's
Really?
the thing. I've used Weight Watchers as well. I was like, I literally
and
can.
so I wouldn't feel bad about saying, hey, I used it and it worked. But again, and this all hinges on my current financial position is I don't really need an extra revenue source outside of my comedy. So I would just go on there and say, hey, I lost a lot of weight on Weight Watchers, but they're not paying me for this. like
they just happened to email me, and
there's this excellent book delivery system, I guess it's called Libro.fm, where it's an alternative to Amazon and Apple, where you can get really good audiobooks, and part of their money goes to small bookstores. And so I like to say things like that, but I would not accept money from them to say that, because I think their overall thing is a good thing, and I would want to save them some money.
You're just pure of heart. Honestly, I've never.
I don't know,
he's pretty
but
pure
also,
of heart too.
If I went completely broke, as I have 4 or 5 times in my life, I would probably accept all offers to try to dig myself out from that, because I wouldn't want to go bankrupt.
We just smash cut to the two of you on tour for Palantir.
I'm not sharing that. You know what? Actually, I will. Gary, if you want to open for me on my Palantir tour, I think that would be really cool. It's a good opportunity for you, too.
You guys have a residency at the Bellagio or whatever, and it's
word.
sponsored by Facebook.
Yeah. The audience is good. They're serious. They're serious. But you can tell when they appreciate jokes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, my word.
I think
Perfect.
corporate comedy, in general, I think corporate comedy is one of the funniest genres of comedy in existence.
I did. Oh, have you done a lot of corporate gigs?
I mean, less than most,
Okay.
more than a handful, but yeah.
Can you say have any of them been fun?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
No, definitely. But most of them are the anxiety leading up to them makes it a wash, because there's no free lunch in terms of that. I remember Andy Kindler having this joke when I first started doing comedy. He was on Comedy Central, and he says that you do these corporate gigs, and it sounded like a lot of money at the time. He says they pay like $1,000, and by the end it's not enough. But you can put any number of money in there to this day, and it's never enough.
It also always feels like with a corporate gig, when you get to the gig, you look around and you're like, I could have asked for twice. Whatever they paid me, I could have got twice.
Right?
That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Especially if you're doing it through because I used to do corporate gigs through Second City. And I'm sure Second City was getting paid an extraordinary amount of money. I'm sure they were. But we were day players. I think we got like $450 or something. Oh, yeah. And then then they would like rent out a Vegas casino or whatever, and you're like, I think this might have literally cost $150,000 just for the venue.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was doing some shows in Chicago this summer, and I went to Second City for the first time to see a Sunday night show, and it was astonishing. They're so talented.
Oh, cool.
And they played instruments and sang, and it was really...
Which show did you see?
Pandemonium.
Oh, yeah. That's the mainstay show. Did you tell them you were there?
No.
Gary, you got to tell them you're there.
Why?
Because then, if you want to, then you would play the set. But only if you want to. If you don't want to play the set, you shouldn't tell them you're there.
What does it mean, play the set?
So you know the improvised third act?
Yeah.
If they had known you were there, they would say...
Oh,
they would have.
jeez, no.
Only if you would have wanted
God.
to.
Right.
They wouldn't have forced you to.
But man, would I be unqualified for that.
Well, you could also... Sometimes if like a stand-up...
I'm unqualified for this type of level of riffing, the ad-libbing. I'm hoping you'll Byron Allen me at some point and just tell me to... I love his setups. I understand you have a joke about dating.
As a matter of fact, I do. Okay, great. You have 6.5 minutes.
Everyone else closes their eyes.
Oh my God.
It is kind of perfect. But you know, all late night shows are kind of like that, but it's a little bit more elegant, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because a lot of it's like pre-interviewed and...
Yeah.
Wait, your special came out in 2024.
My last one, yeah.
And then your one-man show... Well, so Born on Third Base, that was 2024.
Yeah.
When did Grandiloquent... Was that 2025?
Yeah.
You didn't write Grandiloquent in between, right?
No, I did.
Wow.
But I had 5 years to write Born on Third Base. And yeah, so I had been writing what became Grandiloquent from like the summer of 2023 when I had to do a book tour. So, but usually it takes, this will be the first time ever that I took less than 4 or 5 years to get an offer to make another special, so that I'll be recording Grandiloquent in October.
Oh.
Yeah.
As a special.
Yeah.
How do you distinguish between one-man show, hour-long special? You know, because I saw it as a one-man show.
This is the first time I ever did it as a one-man show, and I'll do the same thing, but it'll be recorded as a special, and maybe, of course, there'll be some adjustments, I imagine, directorially, but I wouldn't notice them if I didn't.
Because you guys
Somebody
both
doesn't
do
tell me.
stand-up and one-man shows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've only done one, and
Well, I've also only done one. I've only done
you didn't do one
one-man show.
before that? That
No,
was your
that's
first
it.
one? Wow.
Yeah.
It's really impressive. It was so
thanks,
good.
man.
Yeah.
Dude, your thing was incredible,
Oh, thanks.
I love Grandiloquent. That was...
Thank you.
and not mine. We were just talking about both of
Do you
us.
think you guys...
I thought yours was... let me say this. I thought Grandiloquent was really good.
Fucking guy.
I loved your show. You know I loved your show.
It's too late.
I saw it 3 times.
Did you actually see it 2 times, but then just say 3 because you knew I'm not going to call you on it?
Well, here's the thing. I know for a fact I've seen it twice, but I was thinking it might have been 3. And I thought, you know what?
You just rounding to the nearest 3.
It could be 3. Maybe it was just twice.
Wait, I have a question for you about all the stuff. You created so much stuff. When you are between, so Grandiloquent is written. It's fixed.
Yeah.
And now I assume you're working on more new stuff.
No, I have a new tour called Gary Gulman's 7th Hour.
And is
everything
that
I've written since Grandiloquent.
and is that fixed? Like, is it it's set?
Pretty much, yeah.
When you go about, you'll tour that and then maybe record it and then that'll be done.
Yeah.
When you go on to the next, are you propelled by like, here's something some overarching thing that I want to get across, or are you just like, how do you start building? Do you have a series of jokes that you just end up going, well, these are all good jokes, so I'm going to put them all together?
I mean, since probably the Depression, the Great Depression, I decided, and I think this is the way comedy was going, that it's better to have a whole show on a theme, even if it's not a one-person show, jokes about this. And so I just started collecting jokes about certain themes, and it usually starts with, I just have more jokes about income inequality, so this will be about income inequality. And then this last one, it was all jokes that came from things that happened to me as a child, that didn't make it into my book. And so I said, I want to make this into a one-person show. And then this next one, I don't know what the jokes are that will remain at the end that will make it into a theme. I also don't want it to be contrived, where you just have a series of jokes and then it's all tied into this.
And then for some reason there's like 10 minutes of like real solemn lecturing.
Yeah, it just seems, but that is also a strategy, right? A lot of people do that. I think that fills up a lot of Edinburgh, right? Where
I've never been, but I can imagine
that's what it seems like, that these people are saying, oh, I have these jokes, and then I bring it together with a through line, which is I don't want to shit on it, but I don't want it.
But it's bad.
Well, it can be bad.
Yes, I agree with that.
It can be bad.
I think it definitely
Sometimes
can be.
it's incredible and it's done well. But I remember, again, Andy Kindler saying, I'm not going to have a show where at the beginning I say, I never was comfortable eating crackers. And then at the very end of the show I say, and then I ate a cracker. And so when I was working on Grandiloquent with the director, I was like, please let us never have anything that could be turned into the... And then I ate a
cracker eating.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of a fun shorthand to apply to shows. Like, I don't want a cracker moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it became shorthand for the thing.
Does this feel like we're getting close to cracker? Because I don't want to do cracker.
Are we crackerish? Where are we? Because the thing that I like, my show, which is about something very serious to me and like really sad, as I'm trying to write
But it was
new
fucking
stuff.
hilarious.
Super
It
Thank you
was-
so much.
I mean, the degree of difficulty on that type of thing is so high, and that's I think as you become more of a veteran comedian, that's what you're trying to do for yourself and your audience is try things that are harder and
Yeah,
more
well, I think
challenging.
what's made it tough for me after that is like I don't care about anything else nearly as much as that. Like there's nothing even remotely
Yeah.
close.
Right.
So like as I'm trying to write other stuff,
Yeah.
and I guess I just have to let go of it. But I'm
Yeah.
like trying to like find something that if I'm not saying something that matters to me, even if it's funny, I get so bored.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
It's so hard to keep telling
Yeah.
the jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they're
Let me ask you
if
this
it's
then.
killing, but it's like who
Yeah.
cares?
So
No,
why,
I know.
why don't you do
know.
an hour about that hunt? Because I feel like that hunt is very relatable.
Ooh, the hunt, dibs.
I love it.
He said it, but he offered it to me. It's mine.
Yeah.
But
No,
I'm
that's
serious
a
because I think we're all
that's
looking
a great
for something
idea,
to-
and it's very of the time because, and I will preface this by saying I do talk about this at the beginning of my act, that you feel like, should I even be up here during a fascist takeover? It feels like we're in the first 45 minutes of Cabaret.
Yes.
And I'm going to do observational humor.
I think when the night that I was at Grandiloquent, I think you like off the cuff.
Okay.
I don't know if it's part of the show, but it felt in the moment you said something like that, and it did feel like
Yeah.
or something you thought. I mean, you're a brilliant performer, obviously, but it felt it felt like a new thing that you were saying at that moment.
Yeah, I used to riff at the beginning of the show, so maybe that came from that because
Because I remember being like, "Oh shit."
because it's hard to go into one man show mode
Yeah.
right off the when people expect you to be stand up comedian
Yes,
guy,
totally.
and then all this is sudden you
I've actually got several thoughts.
yes and yeah
I haven't seen Cabaret in a while, but wouldn't one of the points of the first part of Cabaret be that even during a fascist takeover, we do need entertainment and enjoyment?
I don't think that's the point of Cabaret at all. No.
A point, because they keep doing the show throughout. Cause it's like as World War II or not World War II. It's as everything's happening.
yeah I mean,
But they don't shut down the theater voluntarily. They keep going as long as they can. Isn't that? I'm not saying it's the point of the show.
Yeah.
But couldn't a message from that be, yes, we must keep making things and entertaining ourselves and have fun as long as we possibly can?
I think that the characters in that show might think that, but I do not think that is the point. I don't think that's even one of the top.
A point.
I think the people who wrote that show
What
would
about
say
this?
no.
A takeaway.
Sure. If you
Could be a
Just tell him that he's
takeaway.
right. Just
you
say he's
can't
right
tell
about
me
this.
it's not a takeaway.
What happened is he started on a take. He started creating a take as it was happening.
No, I don't
And now he
manufacture
feels
takes.
locked into it.
right, but it's good art, so you can take it however you
That's
want
good.
it.
That's
you
nice. How
wanna
about that?
take
You
That
feel
sounds
better
like you
now?
disagree with me vehemently.
No. I didn't take away what you took away from it, but that's the beauty of great
He
art.
doesn't even remember it. He's saying what he's taking away. He doesn't remember what it is even.
I saw
Yeah.
the most recent production of Cabaret.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the point of the show. I just mean
Then what are you saying?
And that could be a different interpretation of it that you saw that night, and it would be valid. But the film did not feel like that when I've only seen the film.
I know they changed some things in the film. I think maybe they changed that aspect of it.
Yeah,
Because I remember the director of the film said they don't want that to be.
because I feel like if the right person said to me, "Hey, we're not going to do this until there are changes. We're all going on strike, and
Yeah.
there'll be no more mirth." If it was the right person, a Maria Bamford, a Patton Oswalt,
Yes.
Roy Wood Jr.,
We're putting a pause on mirth for now.
yeah, I would be like, all right, I'm in. I'm putting a pause on mirth. And
Yeah, it's
and-
like our
yeah.
the comedians. What's that thing? Lysistrata? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Where the women stop having
Yeah,
sex.
Yes.
That'd be us.
Yeah.
But they don't. But how many people have come up to you and said something like, "Thank you so much. We needed to laugh tonight."
Yeah, and I always tell them, no, you've been entertained long enough. And I'll tell you what you need to do is stop looking away and keep your eyes open.
That's
Because
right.
yeah.
Preach.
Maybe this is a self-protective perspective because I'm like, I don't want to have to stop doing things, so I like hide behind that perspective.
I think there's definitely value. We've talked about this before. I think there is.
Oh well, let's not talk about it again.
Shut
We
up.
already talked about it.
I think there is value to like allaying your anxiety, like being someone who
Yeah.
helps, like brings people a moment of peace or joy in a time that is really like tumultuous. But I think there is a line that is that makes me anxious about like how much better should I make you feel about something that is really quite bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do, but I feel like that's a different question because you're talking about doing comedy about the fascist takeover, and you're like, what am I doing that sort of normalizes this and makes us more comfortable with something that should be uncomfortable? But I'm talking about just telling jokes in general, giving people an escape. So, like, why not, you're making jokes about airports or whatever.
No,
that's
but I mean,
not, like, lulling people into a sense of safety when they shouldn't feel safe. It's just giving them a laugh.
I think it is still a little bit of, it's a little bit like I'm taking your, whatever, you have an illness and I'm giving you a lollipop is kind of what it is. And it's like, at what point is it too many lollipops? At what point should I be like, actually what you need is the medicine? Do you know what I'm saying?
You're saying that, well, you know what they say, the best medicine.
I mean, the thing is the ambivalence.
Yeah,
it's that I cling to, and I say, well, at least I'm ambivalent about it. At least I don't. I don't.
At least I'm above it all.
I don't think that I know that this is exactly what I should be doing. Is lightening the mood. I'm like, should we be doing this? And also, I cannot ignore the thing entirely. Like I imagine you could. Yeah. I have to put in a few jokes that I said, hey, I was at least acknowledging that things were really fucked up during the hour I was entertaining you. And that's, I guess, because but I wonder, like in the Ukraine, are there still stand-up comedy
there must
clubs?
Be. There must be.
And yeah.
I mean, the fact that the president is literally a former stand-up comedian is it feels poignant.
But why don't we know that?
Well, because then you got to speak whatever they speak. Is it Ukrainian? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My family's literally from
Ukrainian
Ukraine,
or
and I don't know
Russian,
the answer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think sort of always in times of like tyranny, there's always like great art, including comedy, right?
Yeah.
Like, Carlin comes out of oppression, basically.
Yeah.
And, 1,000 other great comedians.
Right.
But the ambivalence too, I feel that like sort of a general uncertainty is maybe not exactly what you mean, but I'm always amazed by people, and I would say mostly actually annoyed by people who are so sure of whatever it is. And I tend to like hold back any specific judgment on literally anything because I feel like Socratic wisdom or whatever of like, I know I don't know.
Yeah.
But then people who are really dumb are so sure about stuff that it feels like sometimes you have to come out on the other side with a fake level of confidence just to combat the dumb people's confidence. What I say makes sense?
Yeah. But what is that principle they talk about? I want to say Dunning-Kruger, but it might be something else where the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, and so ignorance is the...
Yes, I think Dunning-Kruger is like basically the dumber you are, the more sure you are of how smart you are.
Yeah. That there's a name for that because it's a scourge, right?
Yeah. It's big time scourge right now. It's scourging to the most.
There are artists. I remember I've read a couple of books about The Wire, and there was one writer on The Wire named Edward Burns who, I guess the guy, Andre Royo would come in and talk about a football game. And Edward Burns, the writer, would say, the world is being taken over by psychopaths and you're watching football. Like he would lecture him. And I'm like, yeah, those guys, I admire that too. The person who isn't, no, I'm not gonna stop focusing on the really important things to be distracted by anything else. And I admire that. But
it also seems kind of impossible to never watch football.
Wait, Gary, didn't you literally stop watching football?
Yeah, I don't watch football anymore, but I do watch a lot of basketball. So I haven't.
But football's more football. A lot of people have ethical. Is this because of an ethical? Like you think it's kind of horrific, or no? Why'd you stop watching football?
Oh, I mean, part of it was all the concussions and, and the fact that
because you don't have that in
it
basketball.
felt like bear baiting, and in basketball you don't have that, and then baseball I feel takes too much time out of my.
No, but now they have the shot clock.
Reading, yeah, that makes a real big difference.
Baseball feels less like a sport and more like a hang. Like you gotta go to the stadium and you're hanging out with your family, and there, if you want, you can watch the game. That's what the other sports feels like you're locked in. But baseball, like, oh, there's also a baseball game here.
Right? Yeah.
Wait, so you are a big NBA fan?
Yeah.
Are you a Celtics fan?
Yes.
How did it feel when the Knicks fucking won all that shit in your face, bro?
Oh, I was really happy for the old men in my neighborhood and in my life. I mean, it felt like an extra holiday this year to have so many people so happy for so long. Although it was interesting to see how the people who were convinced during the Atlanta Hawks series that this was going to be another
here they go again
season, and they were going to be done in again, to all of a sudden in that second, I guess it was the second round, they were like, no, this team is so hot.
This might be the best playoff team ever.
Yeah, this is very possible, and it was really beautiful, and it didn't really waver after that.
I think I thought was really fun was that they went on the winning streak and picked up so many bandwagon fans in that time, that including like my wife and daughter, for example, that when they lost a playoff game, it was truly something that new fans were like, I didn't know they could lose. I'd never heard of them losing a game.
Yeah.
It was really as a lifelong Knicks fan, a really wild thing to see, to be like, oh no, they do this all the time.
Yes, this is
they're actually more famous for this.
Yeah.
Did you think that there was another team that the Knicks would have lost to?
Did
you think that they specifically were able to beat the Spurs, but if it had been a different team that advanced, they would have lost?
I think they might have lost to the Thunder. I think the OKC Thunder might have beaten them.
Oh, I found them to be so hot and so locked in and have such great chemistry in terms of their passing and their offense and their belief in themselves. Whenever they would get down, they would make these comebacks that I didn't think there was a team that could stop them. I've heard of it in the NHL in terms of a hot goalie or something like that, but I'd never seen a hot team like that in all my years of watching the NBA finals and seasons. During the regular season, teams could get hot and be unbeatable, but I'd never seen it like that. I'm sure there are other instances of it, but I never really experienced it.
Well, it's also in the finals to watch Jalen Brunson go one-on-one with Wembanyama, where it's like, once the smallest guy out here gets one-on-one with the biggest guy out here, who's also probably, when he retires, will be known as the greatest defender in the history of basketball.
Yes.
For that little guy to be like, everybody get out of the way, I'm going to score on him, is so beautiful.
Yes.
And that is something that, well, it almost can't happen again because Wembanyama will never be as young and Jalen Brunson will never be. It was really exciting.
Neither of them will ever be as young.
Yeah,
that's really true.
No one on the court that night will ever be that young again.
Okay, you know what? Screw you.
That's true.
You play basketball.
Yeah,
we've played
basketball together.
Three-person basketball.
We have a name.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we called?
We're the Yellow Ballers.
The Yellow Ballers. Why are we called that again?
Because Asher brought a
yellow ball.
I
see.
A yellow basketball to the game.
Got it.
You know who I think about frequently whenever I pass by the court that we used to play at is the day your son came, and I think he defeated us in Crocs or untied shoes or something ridiculous. He just showed up 20 years younger than the youngest person, because a friend of mine, a comedian named Brian Elberg, who's a high school math teacher, he played too, and he was in really good shape, but your son just really.
He will be thrilled that is your recollection of that.
That's my recollection of that day. Is that we couldn't.
It was incredible.
We couldn't stop the father-son team.
Also, total side note, total tangent.
Yeah.
Is Brian Elberg incredibly funny? Because every time I see something of him, because I've never seen him at a show.
He is incredibly funny.
But every time I see one of his clips, or like now it's like this triptych with
he
with
does
tech.
so great with those.
Every
those
single
things.
one of them I think is so funny.
know
And
that.
I'm like, wait, is this guy one of the funny? Because I only know
he
him as
is.
the guy Gary brought to play basketball that day.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, he is. I discovered him from seeing how funny he was on Instagram.
Oh, really?
And I reached out to him, and it turned out that he taught high school in my neighborhood or nearby, and we started becoming friends.
You just cold DM'd a guy you thought was funny on Instagram and became
I
buddies?
I do that a lot.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so you play
I
basketball.
think it's how Asher and I became friendly.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Because I remember when you followed me, it was one of the greatest days of my life.
Oh, really?
But just
Oh, my
because I've been a
gosh.
fan for such a long time.
Oh, that's so nice.
It really made my day.
But I hadn't met Michael before I went to his taping
Yeah.
at the Audible Theater, and yeah, I was blown away by that.
But I want to talk about you playing basketball.
So comedy has made me a lot of friends.
Comedy's kind of made me all of my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I would
hard-
say
well, no, I have a few. I'm like immediately thinking of my non-comedy friends being like, "Hey, yeah, I'm not your friend anymore." No, I have non-comedy friends too.
You're when you play basketball still,
Yeah.
and you are great,
No.
and you're a faraway guy.
Oh, I like to shoot from far away.
Just
yeah.
you seem just looking at you think you'd be a close guy.
Yeah.
You're a faraway guy.
Yeah.
And you're hitting buckets. You're sort of in range in the gym. When you're in the gym, you're in range. Steph Curry game.
Thank you. But the thing that I've learned about shooting over the years, I wouldn't have known this, and I don't know how many more people should talk about this, because they talk about that Zen in the art of archery, where it becomes a meditative thing when you do the archery. But I find that way too with the form involved in basketball. And so basketball can be a solitary sport. You can practice a lot of the skills on your own. As soon as I say it's the only sport you can practice on your own, people will come out of the woodwork, and NHL fans will
How
pounce.
dare you? Yeah.
Pounce. But I feel it's the best sport to practice alone.
Canceled.
Team sport.
Oh, team sport.
Team sport.
But
and
You
so-
do
and I do for
right. Don't you have a
hours, yeah.
routine of going up and down the court and playing against yourself? Is
Yeah,
that
it's
correct?
One side versus the other side. So the team on the far court or near court, whatever.
And both the team, by the way, is you.
Yeah, the team, by the way, is me, and whoever makes 100 points first. Some days I'll shoot only threes. Some days I'll shoot only twos. Some day you have to make 3 twos in a row to be eligible to shoot a three. So I have all these.
The rules are ever
things.
changing.
The rules are ever changing to make it a little bit more challenging, so that it lasts about 45 minutes
It takes you 45 minutes to score 100 points.
for one
Shooting-
team. Yeah, going back and forth.
That could be 199 points total.
Yeah.
I think if it were me, I'd probably shoot all threes, pretty much. Because then if I'm shooting twos, now I have to travel way further to shoot the twos.
But some days I shoot only NBA threes, and those games can take longer.
Okay.
If only because I have to draw the NBA three in chalk.
No, do you really do that?
I don't do the whole thing, but I
like, put a
walk
line?
off.
You walk
little
it off?
marks.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
And it's 3.5 of my sneakers is the NBA three from the high school three, which is like if you play enough, it's like it becomes a layup.
That's a beautiful, like, boyish thing to do.
Oh,
To
thanks.
get out there and step out and be like, well, I know it's
Yeah.
3.5 shoes.
The thing that
That's like
I think
something
is
that someone
really-
from the old neighborhood would do.
The thing that I find really twisted about my thinking is that I feel like I'm doing it for the other people who want to shoot NBA threes, and I never see anybody going, "Hey, this seems to be the NBA three."
Hey, that guy did this for us.
Yeah. Like I want credit for having improved the court some.
You could sign it. Gary did this.
I'm a
They're all
mess.
washing it off every day, cursing your name. All these chalk marks. Do you ever find when
I'm a
you're,
mess in my desire for recognition.
when you're playing against yourself? Do you ever find yourself rooting
Biased.
for one? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, this will tell you how insane I am. And I don't do
wait.
this anymore, but when I first started doing this, I would play like, all right, so I was recreating Knicks Spurs one day. And what happens is if I'm shooting as Jaylen Brown, who's always the first person to take a shot, if he misses,
Wait, Jalen Brunson or Jalen Brown?
Jalen Brunson,
Okay.
yeah. Jalen versus the Celtics.
Right.
Right? So Jalen Brunson misses. Now, Cat is the next shooter, and he shoots until he misses. And then the other side, Tatum shoots until he misses, and then Jaylen Brown, right? So in my head, I'll be like, Jaylen Brown now has 45 points because he's made 15 threes in a row, right? I mean, this is the insanity. Okay, you think that's crazy? And not just once, several times, reenacted my West Memorial Elementary School versus a rival.
A game that you played
seventh
in as
grade,
a child?
Yes, a game as I played as a child.
No, I would do this for sure.
And took great glee in blowouts, just blowing out these groups of seventh graders
that don't exist, that aren't there.
They're not there.
And but you recall the game enough.
I do not try to miss when I'm my rival. That's where
You're pure of heart.
I have
Still
some
Internal
integrity.
honor system, yes.
Yeah.
In my mind right now, I feel transported to 40 years from now, all of us sitting around an assisted living facility, just recounting our greatest athletic feats.
I'll tell you, the thing that you talk about when you delight in blowouts, mine is, I think, 10 times. If you feel shame about that at all, mine is way more pathetic, which is that I play the video game, NBA 2K.
Okay.
And I have created a character with my name who is 7 feet tall, and all his attributes are 99. In every category, he's an A+. And so when I play against a computer. I win by 100 points a game, and that character gets a quadruple double in every single game.
Wow. I love that.
It's pretty sad.
I did that in a college football game. I created Gary Goldman, and he was a really good tight end.
Yeah. Was that you? Did you play tight end?
Yeah.
In college?
Yeah.
I forgot if you were a lineman or a tight end. I remember.
Yeah.
I know it was one of the big
Well,
ones.
they moved me to offensive line, and that was
You were like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Like, oh,
this hurts so much.
This is insane. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a bike guy? Do you ride a bike?
Not anymore, but I have in the past. Rode a mountain bike, and I loved it. I have to do it again. I guess I was always afraid in Manhattan, but we live close enough to the park where it could be very safe.
I feel safer biking in New York than any city I've ever lived in.
Okay, that's good to know.
But only because I don't think that's fair. I think I feel irrationally safe.
Okay.
But I think the part of it that's rational is there are bike lanes everywhere now. It's crazy. Like in Chicago, there was. I mean, I feel like every 3 blocks there'd be one of those ghost bike memorials of, I mean, because there were no bike lanes and people were just getting hit all the time. And I feel like in New York, I mean, my controversial take is that I kind of don't like e-bikes, which I know if you're I forget what the group is. If you're very pro non-car transit, you don't like what I'm saying because you're like, we need to have as many alternatives to cars.
Sure.
But I hate e-bikes because those are the things that I'm worried they're going to knock me out.
Yeah.
I ride an e-bike. I mean, to come here pretty much every single time. But it's also
I like some people. I like some of them. For sure. It's definitely not everyone. That's a good point.
I ride city bike like all the time.
Yeah, my wife does
I'm on
too.
a city bike all the time. And I'm helmet.
Good.
Foldable
helmet, collapsible, which I know is not a word that you think of when you're like, what's a word that just with it carries the connotation of safety. Collapsible is probably not that word.
Oh, this helmet. This is the special Shattering helmet.
But that's what I have. I have a collapsible helmet.
It actually makes me want to get this collapsible helmet. What's the brand? This could be our first sponsor.
I don't remember that.
Oh my
I think it
God!
starts with a B. I think it starts with a B.
Starts with a B. All right.
Burn? Could that be it?
Burn is the helmet company.
I don't know. But honestly, the reason I thought about it is that I continue to perspire because I biked all the way here.
Oh, I'm sweaty too. I biked here and I'm still sweating.
Did you? But you didn't bike here.
No, I took the A.
But that can make you sweaty too. It can be sweaty from the
down. A. No, it was nice and chilly in there.
Nice and cool.
Yeah.
Gary's staying cool.
Yeah.
Lovely. What else is going on, Gary? What else? What's up? What are we doing the rest of the week?
Well, I just finished filming an independent movie directed and written by Dan Perlman.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I play basketball with Dan Perlman sometime. Have you played ball with him?
I haven't played with him, but I want to.
He's a gunner. He's a guy you set him up like probably from your NBA 3. He'll shoot from wherever.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So he wrote this movie and directed it, and I played a science teacher, but also has been sort of foisted into an administrative position because of the ineptitude within the school. And so I had, I guess, 7 days of work, and I got to act with some young, talented actors who were playing high school kids, and then Maria Bamford is in it. And,
awesome!
And Yamanika Saunders and Laura Benanti, and so it was so
Murderers
wonderful.
Row.
Yeah, it was so wonderful, and Jamie Lee. I hope I don't leave people out, but it was really special. So that's what I've been doing the past couple weeks, and moving in between that. So I've been very busy. So over the weekend, I'm just going to read and play some basketball.
Good for you.
Hell yeah!
I feel like those are the two moving and shooting things are the two things that never take as much time as you've allotted. They always take longer, and I think I mean that literally. I don't think they've ever taken less time, or the exact amount of time. It's always longer, always.
How do you like acting?
I do love it.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I've been training for it mostly. I don't do it as much as I've
training for it. Mean you like taking acting classes?
Yeah,
and stuff?
I've been in acting programs and classes and things like that. So I've spent much more time in scene study and acting, but not in front of an actual crew, but just for classes, and then to actually get to do it is really, as we know, the way you get better at it. So I've been lucky the past several years. I was a recurring character on Life and Beth with Amy Schumer, and so got to do it a lot more than
I love that show. I thought it was so great.
Oh, thanks. I loved
really
it too.
Wonderful.
It was really funny and well done, and so this was another great experience, and I look forward to it, and I also love the and you get this in a one-man show too, where you have a crew who is supporting you, and you're seeing them every day, and you become like a
family,
friends
sort
and
of.
family. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Wait, so you go.
No, please.
How you've been taking acting class? For how long?
Since I started doing stand-up.
So like
decades. So for 20, 30 years or more, and I just knew that the really good comedians that I was working with in Boston had done a lot of acting. Like Robert Kelly was sort of my inspiration, because he was really funny at stand-up, but then I got into this acting class at his recommendation, and then I saw him act, and if you've seen him in things over the years, he's just extraordinary, and so just act circles around the other stand-ups because he took it seriously from a young age. So.
And did you take the class because you wanted to become an actor, or because you were like, I think this will make me a better stand-up?
Yeah, both of those things. I knew the other thing going on at that time was that it became clear early on that comedians were not getting work solely as comedians. They were usually getting things because they had been on something or in something, and so they were developing a following from having a TV sitcom or being in movies. And so I thought that may be a compromise, which isn't really a compromise, because I did love acting, but initially, if they had said, "Oh, all you have to do is do stand-up, and you can be a touring stand-up someday," I probably would have just done stand-up. But I didn't know that there would be other ways to become a touring stand-up. But that's all I really ever wanted to do. But at the time, there was also this great thing where you could come up with an idea for a TV show, and they would give you a bunch of money.
Back in the day.
Yeah, they were called development deals in the 90s and early 2000s, and then they started doing the game shows and the reality TV, and they were like, we don't have to find the next Paul Reiser or Ray Romano. We're fine.
We can make plenty of money doing this.
Although there was one reality TV show that.
Oh yes,
that
I was on. That was about finding a stand-up comedian.
What was so this is Last Comic Standing. If I remember correctly, you were on not one but 2 seasons.
I was on 2 seasons. Yeah.
What did that do to your career? I don't know what you were doing before.
It made me a headlining act for 9 months. It was really interesting. Couldn't get a tour, couldn't get a road date before that show, and then for 9 months afterwards, I was able to sell out comedy clubs, and then all that disappeared, and I was able to every once in a while do a headlining gig for the next So from 2004 till about 2014, I really struggled to get work on the road. It was nearly impossible.
What do you attribute that to? The 9-month tail of the why wouldn't that be longer?
They used to say, I remember Dave Attell saying, the further you get away from your television credits, the less tickets you're going to sell.
Huh.
Because there was no way to...
There's no other way to keep, remain in the consciousness of the public.
Yeah. So that's what was going on. And now, I mean, the internet gives and the internet takes away. I mean, mostly it's destroying our
the fiber of
lives.
Our universe.
Yeah,
but,
the fiber of our universe.
Well, that's what it's taking away, but what is it giving us?
But I've been able to maintain some momentum in terms of touring.
So do you?
That's a fair trade.
And I'd give it up tomorrow for some peace of mind.
So would you say your touring success now? Are you mostly getting your audiences from people who see you on Instagram? Is that how most people find out about your shows?
I think that's a good question. I have no idea. There's no way to figure it out.
Yeah.
We have email newsletters and things like that, and also they advertise when I'll be coming. The different locations will advertise when I'm coming, so maybe that's part of it. But I think I probably get new fans from specials and from. But I think the biggest boost I ever got was when Patton Oswalt shared my Abbreviating the States Conan appearance, and then all of a sudden I could sell a few hundred seats in like 30 cities, and that gave me really a touring career.
I mean, that's a stand-up set that I have shown, like, when to people who don't know anything about comedy. That's something that I'm like, well, I think you would like stand-up. Have you ever laughed before? And then that feels like that's like a
wow,
can't miss stand-up set.
That's a great compliment. I really appreciate that.
It's just like it's like the epitome of delightful. It just really, at every new thing that happens in that, you're like, well, goddamn, this is so fun. Look at this other fun thing he did.
It's such a good
and here comes, and now he's the secretary. That's fun too. Holy shit, he found another fun thing. Sorry, you go.
No, it's so funny. I love it, and it is also when you come up in conversation, people will say, "Oh, I love his the state abbreviation."
Yeah.
So my question for you then is, what's your relationship to that bit? Was that a bit you really liked and you're glad? Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
I thought of this question too, but
I loved doing it, and I loved writing it. Have you heard that it took like 20 years it was in my notebook for 20 years before it started to work?
Is that true?
No.
Yes. Yeah, I told that
how
story.
old? Because it's premised on you having seen the documentary recently. Is that documentary?
It's not a real documentary, one.
Oh, wow. Look
and
at
what
this.
The premise
could it be a real documentary? Hang on a second. Could it have been a real documentary?
When you said I watched a documentary, I took that on face value without
funny.
a
This
second
is very
of
common,
interrogation.
Michael. This is very common.
People think it's a real documentary.
Usually it's a bigger dolt than Asher, but
wait, are you aware that the bit is a comedy bit though, right? You don't think he's just telling
But that part's not a joke. It's I saw a documentary and then okay, I gotta watch it again. How much have I embarrassed myself?
what if they tried to Hassan Minaj me with this
fake
information?
Oh yeah, Asher's gonna
made up the whole.
That's what the clips of this are gonna be.
I have a New Yorker fact checker come on in. So Gary just said it's not a real documentary. It's not a real documentary. There's no documentary.
No.
Wow, I do feel like a complete moron.
Around a table.
No, I knew the extension was a joke. But I did think that there was a documentary that it was based on. I'm not defending it. I know I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
There could be. There was a. So what happened?
There could be.
What happened is
the nicest man in comedy.
There was a.
There could have been, sure.
The premise was, and I had known of this dilemma since I was like 7 years old. I said, it is so hard because I had one book called The Arrow Book of States. We had a book fair. You were allowed to take two books. I took this book called Alvin's Swap Shop, and the other one was The Arrow Book of States, and it had every piece of trivia about every state. And
That's
one
fun.
thing, and this was an older book. It had just come out when they had just abbreviated all the states down to 2 letters. And so because when you only have 2 books, you know them backwards and forwards, I memorized every state abbreviation. But I remember thinking the hardest thing is that most of them, or a lot of them, start with the same first two letters, and so you can fuse them. And then when I first started doing comedy, you're very hungry for any way to write an observational joke, especially if you're going to do observational humor. And so the early iterations, and I will say that from the very first start, I made it like it was a meeting where they decided to, it's a very Bob Newhart style of joke. And the outrage at Alaska and Alabama having the same first two letters and them getting into fights, and then the joke would just fall apart because I couldn't go much beyond. You ever notice that the states start with the same letters? And then one night, by mistake really, or just off the cuff, I decided I was going to say that I had seen this documentary where they did this, and that was the thing. And it happened to be at the time when you could believe that documentaries could be about small things. So that was part of it.
Still
was convincing
at that time,
convincing people that this was a real documentary. And then you just and then I had this other joke about how I felt that I could never get to work, but I had kept in my notebook and tried to work it out, how the Omelet Chef resents you. Because I had one experience on vacation with an omelet chef that was surly. And I said, of course she doesn't want to be nice making your omelet. You're ordering her around, and she didn't want to be the omelet chef. She wanted to be the head chef.
Yeah.
And now she's being ordered around by an amateur. And so that's where the joke came from, and ultimately it just, but it took like 20 years to get it right. And the other thing, my relationship with it is this: some nights it would bomb, but then there would always be at least comedians in the back who would come down to watch it, and I was like, that's a good sign that this is a good joke. I don't care if these people are laughing. If the comedians find it good, then this is something I should keep doing. So that was very helpful. But
them coming down to
that
watch
joke
it
was by no means bulletproof or would work every night.
It's on Conan, right?
Yeah.
That feels like the perfect, if there's like an audience for it too,
Yeah.
like that's the spot.
But even in Conan, I remember thinking, oh, they didn't like it as much as I had hoped they would, because the audience is very far away, and you're not that famous, so they're not that invested in you on late night shows, and so it went really well compared to every other set I had done. But I wasn't like, there's that Gary Shandling on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson where he gets an applause break on every sentence, and it wasn't that. It wasn't that, even though obviously this was a better set than Gary Shandling's first Johnny Carson, because it's just, comedy is so different now.
Yeah.
But to me, that was the measuring mark to me that was the perfect set, because he just murdered the entire time. But the other thing is that I can watch it and point out all the flaws in it, and how I was,
of course,
and how I was nervous, and I couldn't stand still, and yeah. So, and also that it didn't become popular until after Patton Oswalt shared it.
I don't think I knew that.
It just kind of came and went, and I had been, and also a few months before that, or even less than a few months before that, in February of that year, I had been committed to the psych ward for a month. And then later that summer, I got to do the Conan O'Brien, and it was
that was just after.
But then within a few months of that appearance, so the following April, I was back. I was back. I didn't want to. The Great Depression only tells of one stint at the psych ward, because I didn't think the story really held people's attention if I was like, and then I went back again, and similar things happen, and this time it worked. So I just kind of
mushed it into one.
Yeah, what do they call that? Compressed.
Yeah.
Or combined.
New Yorker fact checker, get it back in here. In the Great Depression.
The truth is that it was worse.
Prepare for a strong dialogue about this on Twitter.
The truth is that I had twice as many electroconvulsive therapy treatments as I claimed in the special, but it's just it works better if it's just one.
If I'm being honest, some parts of it were actually not funny.
Oh, part of it is just miserable.
The idea of comics coming down for the purpose of watching a bit.
Oh yeah,
you're saying like that to me is
that's
the
greatest
so
feeling.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's the greatest feeling in the world because it's what I remember people saying about Richard Pryor or Robin Williams at the Comedy Store, and I was like, oh, this is happening for me. I mean, I'm not those guys, but it feels nice because ultimately, at some point, the respect of our peers means as much as the audience laughter. If you're doing
totally.
if you're doing it right.
And also there's like a sense that, somebody kind of discovered a new thing here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you're doing something that's...
It wasn't so much discovering anything new as the thing that I always loved with comedians is how long they would take a premise, and I felt like that was an instance of that I had gone longer than most people would bother.
I remember at Second City, the real test of whether or not you could feel good about a scene was whether or not the night staff watched it and laughed. Because they were seeing the show every single night. So if that was a scene where you could sort of see them hanging in the back and watching and still enjoying, you're like, oh, there must be something here.
Yeah.
Because the regular audience, some are good, some are bad. You can't really trust but you're like, okay, I'm on to something. If they're watching it and laughing, and I'm on to something.
I always like to point that out, especially to young comedians who are hungry for validation and approval, is that early on, wait person or staff can provide that type of validation, and it's so important and it's so necessary to keep going, because a lot of times the audience do not appreciate you, or they're inconsistent in their appreciation. So yeah, the night staff, that's cool.
Or the comic in the wings.
Yes.
When you say something and the audience kind of doesn't respond, and you just hear from the wings, ha!
Yeah.
That.
Oh yeah.
That is like
that'll
just
keep you afloat like crazy.
You've just taken an EpiPen to my leg, and I am invigorated.
Totally.
I think also, I feel like audiences don't realize how much power they have to make a show good. Yeah. Like obviously the performer has most of it.
Yeah.
But an audience, if you have like a good audience, meaning people who are there to notice things, who like want to have fun, you can't beat that. I mean, it's just it makes the waves that much higher. It's just so much more fun. And then you're like, oh, I can fuck around now, and we can like discover some stuff together, as opposed to people who are like, you know, impress me, funny boy.
Yeah.
Which it's not like we're gonna kill in front of whoever.
Right.
But if you come with the idea of like, we're all gonna do this together as the audience, we're gonna have a fucking time like you have never imagined you could have. It rules.
Yeah, and I think that the main component of what you're describing is you feeling comfortable being yourself, your funniest self, and a lot of times you don't want to be vulnerable in front of this audience that is not that comforting and with you, because you're really stepping out you're going out on a limb there by being yourself in front of people who are going to be hostile to that self.
Yeah. Have you ever like ended a set early or whatever? Because I don't mean like, you know, in the middle of a show, not giving people their money's worth, but been like, I could do 20 more minutes right now, but you guys actually, I find you kind of repugnant. So I think I'm done.
It's not so much that I find them repugnant. It's just I don't have enough jokes left over that will intersect with what you're into, and I feel comfortable sharing with you. I don't want to do the things that I'm unsure of in terms of they're new, and I don't want to do the things that really require me to be out on that limb and naked being myself. Although every once in a while you'll be forced into doing stuff that you're not comfortable with, and you do it with some sort of defiance, and suddenly that wins them over, and you're like, geez, that was very strange, and I couldn't have predicted that. I really thought that by digging in, I was going to alienate them further, and for some reason they sensed some sort of confidence.
Because then they feel like you're in control in a way they maybe didn't feel before.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, because I used to host a show, and I shouldn't even say this. It doesn't matter. I remember an incredible performer at a show that I used to host, like 5 minutes into their act, killing, absolutely killing, and then kind of pausing and looking at the audience and being like, I think that's all I'm going to do, and then just walking off stage. And it was like in this hotel, the vibes were all fucked up. And I to this day suspect that it was just like, I don't like the way you're laughing at what I'm doing, and I think I don't want to participate in this anymore.
But they were killing though?
Crushing.
Huh. Because I went to the, I'm obviously not going to name names, but I went to the Cellar maybe a year ago for the first time. Just I was like, I should go and see what this place is. And I would say the audience was fine. I think it's probably mostly tourists, just based on the little bit of crowd work I saw. And
it's like a road room.
It felt, that's exactly what it felt like, a road room. Yeah. And it wasn't full. And I know it wasn't full because at least one or two comics mentioned it wasn't full. And then by the end, the guy who I guess was the closer definitely ended in the middle of the set. I think that maybe he had more, I don't know what the rules are there, like you have to go X number of minutes, but I could feel it end abruptly, and it didn't feel like part of the bit is that it ends abruptly. It was like, no, he wants to leave.
He's done.
And I remember watching it thinking, this is my first time here. This is probably, based on the audience, everyone's first time here. We don't know the room you're used to.
Yeah.
But you are communicating to us that we are way worse than what you're used to. And it made all of us so, I mean, I'm speaking for everyone now, but I really do think the vibe of the room was like, okay, guys, let's laugh a little bit more because they're mad at us, is what it felt like.
Wow.
And I was
We're hurting their feelings.
And I felt like, or like making them feel bad. And I remember walking out of that thinking, it was a good reminder that everyone who's at my show, when I do a show, they don't know the 5 shows I did before this. They don't know that they're the worst audience.
Right.
And to treat them like the best audience, because I think treating them any other way makes it harder for me and for them to have a good time.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. The thing that I'm referencing, the performer was in drag for part of it. And I think what happened was the audience started to laugh in a way that was like, oh, this isn't supposed to be the funny part. Like you've started to laugh, like you're laughing a lot at the things that they are doing that they mean to be funny, but you're also laughing at things that they don't think of as funny. And I think that this performer was like put off by that. Yep. And I totally respect being like, I don't want you to keep laughing at that. So I'm like, I could get more of these laughs, but I don't want them, which sounds kind of like the area that you're in, where it's like, I know what to do to get more laughs out of you, but I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
So I'm not, I think I might be done.
Yeah. My wife made a good point, and it's also from that book of comedy by Jesse David Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you become very irritated when they're not giving you something you want. And really what you need to do is go out there and just give them something.
Yeah.
That's the dynamic that is the healthiest and also the most joyful way to approach it. And Jesse David Fox speaks about that in his book, I highly recommend that book. It's really good for a performer as well as a person who loves comedy as an audience member, but it was very insightful, and really, he does that thing where he analyzes a joke, a podcast called The One Good One, I think it's
Good
called.
One, I think.
Good One, yeah. Good One, and so he's really smart about comedy, and we would know, right, because we do it, because sometimes people write about comedy like, you don't really get it at all.
Yeah.
They're
yes. This is nonsense.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder if all the hospital shows that we watch are if doctors watched it, they'd be like, well, this is complete nonsense.
I think most of the time they do.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's the case in everything that is made into media. But that was a really good lesson that my wife noticed about my bad shows, and it was really helpful.
I'm just, this is a digression, but I'm remembering that at this show that I used to host, you were on the bill one night. and I think when we had set it up, you were supposed to be either first or last, whatever it was.
Okay.
And you got there, and we did not do what we had said, and you were like, I have another spot, like I have to go, and so you left.
Oh wow.
And we had comics who had to cancel on shows for whatever reason, stuff comes up. This was the only time that somebody came backstage after the show and said, "Hey, my wife and I came here to see Gary Gulman. So we want our money back."
Wow.
And I was like, I guess.
I'm sorry.
So I think and I was scared. I was physically scared of him.
Oh,
so
that's terrible.
I think I
I'm
gave him $40 in cash or something.
I'm sorry.
No,
Oh,
I had just forgotten about that until right now.
so messed up.
It was really messed
Where
up.
was-
Actually, fuck you, man.
Where was this show?
It was at a hotel downtown.
At a hotel downtown. Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, Gary.
Are we going to do that thing, the full-throated thing?
Yeah.
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 So that's what we're going to do. So we end every episode the same way. And that is we ask our guest to give a full-throated endorsement. Have you prepared a full-throated endorsement?
Yes.
Okay. Please. What is your full-throated endorsement?
I hope this is...
You can't go
I got
wrong.
the idea right. Okay. John Steinbeck's East of Eden.
Yeah, that's very full-throatedly endorsable.
Yeah. I had never read it. I was mostly put off by its length. It seemed to be over either close to 700 pages or over 700 pages.
Yeah.
And I like a shorter book, like 500, 300. I love a novella.
Yeah, I'm trying. Give me a paragraph.
Yeah. Yeah. So I never read it. And also there's part of me that's like, how could that be a page turner for 700 pages? And it was like the smartest writer wrote a soap opera, I guess, because it just had so many things that you would say this could be really bad because there are awful behavior in it that could be made sensational and tabloid type, but it was written so beautifully and with such warmth, compassion, and empathy. And then there are two of the wisest special characters I had ever encountered in literature in this book. And this has probably happened with other books, and I didn't mention it, but I felt like it changed me.
Ooh, that's huge.
Yeah. Like
That's the best a book can be.
It changed how I looked at humans. I think the term is Manichean, or have you ever heard that, where people who look at the world as black and white, good and evil?
Oh, no.
And I've only seen it. I've never said it out loud. So
I'm
I
excited
can't
to find
remember how
out
it's
if that's
pronounced.
yeah.
But Manichean phonetically is the okay.
I think.
Wait, spell the word for me.
I think it's Manichean or something like that.
Well, it looks like Manichean.
Sounds like Manichean to me. Yeah.
But anyhow, after reading that, I'm like, yeah, people unfortunately are probably more nuanced than being good and evil and 100% chaotic evil versus lawful good. I mean, this is very Dungeons and Dragons, but I after reading that book, I thought, God damn it, I'm going to have to give people a better shake at
That's one of the really frustrating things about
everything.
Good art. So much good art is that it gives you such sympathy for people that you're like, but I fucking don't like those people.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, these people behaving really badly, and they're
now
not.
I have to consider their
they're
backstory.
Not 100%
God damn it.
Bad. And what drew me to the book initially was I love it when you find out at some point, this book is a modern retelling of the Brothers Karamazov. There's a great version of that called The Brothers K that's written, it's a lot about baseball and growing up in the Pacific Northwest. And I never read The Brothers Karamazov, but I intend to because this book was so good and I want to read them. Or James, that Percival Everett book, which is based on the characters in Huck Finn. Yeah. So this one I had been told, this is the book of Genesis. This is Cain and Abel. And it's Cain and Abel, but told several times. And actually, Cain and Abel is analyzed by one of the characters, and his mentors and his guides in terms of the spiritual and the I guess the religious of it all. And it was just gosh, and the writing was just so beautiful. And then what I like to do is then read everything I can about
the book.
About the book. And this one thing that really struck me was that John Steinbeck had said that every other book he had written prior to that was practice to write this one.
Oh,
which
wow.
is like, wow, Of Mice and Men and
Was practice.
Grapes of Wrath.
Those are warm-ups.
Those were warm-ups for this thing. And part of me was like, wow, that makes sense because this is so good. And then the other side of it is how it was lambasted by critics and diminished and castigated. But then now people are like, all right, this was a
was
masterpiece, and it was, and it's timeless. That was the other thing, is how timeless, which is one of the hardest things, maybe an impossibility in comedy.
Yeah.
To make something that holds up. There isn't much.
Yeah.
I feel like you got pretty much Who's on First.
Right.
But that doesn't hold up. We appreciate that it is what it is, but it's not making us laugh.
It doesn't make us laugh.
It's
no.
classic.
It's like Who's on
Marx
First
Brothers.
still kind of works.
No.
You don't think so? I haven't watched it in a long time.
Because you'd have to imagine watching. You go to a show, you've never heard of that bit. You go to a show, you sit there, and someone comes out and does that. You're not laughing.
No.
It's the same. I watch the Marx Brothers with my dad every time he visits. And this last time we watched
Duck Soup?
No, that
Day at the Races?
I actually do think Duck Soup kind of holds up. Horse Feathers.
Duck Soup does hold up.
I think Duck Soup kind of holds up. I don't think Horse Feathers holds up, maybe at all. And I was watching it, and I was like, I appreciate what this is.
Yeah.
And I want to enjoy it, and this is fun bonding with us, but it is not funny. I'm not laughing at this.
I guess I tried to watch something, I forget, it was some Robin Williams thing with my kids that I, as a child, was like, this is the funniest thing
Insomnia.
that has ever happened.
It was the movie Insomnia with Al Pacino.
Yeah, a hilarious movie called Good Morning Vietnam.
1 hour photo.
And
Doubtfire?
they were like, this guy needs to relax.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, I guess, it is kind of like Madcap or whatever. I just hadn't really thought of it. Anyway.
Yeah,
Well,
but you can't take out everyone who is influenced by
Oh,
him
yeah, totally.
out of their knowledge. So it's we're seeing the different Richard Pryor incarnations, and then we also see the Richard Pryor and what he meant to us when we were young. It's really hard to do that for young people, because their context is so different. We had never seen anybody like Robin Williams.
You have to understand, at the time, anything that where you say that, it's going to be tough.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's also like, it's like they've been driving around in cars all the time, and then you're like, you should check out a horse. And I go, a horse is
No, but you
slow.
have to understand at the time.
Yeah.
This
At
was
the
very
time,
fast.
that's just how fast
Couldn't
you
get
could
over
go.
it.
This is how I feel about Hitchcock film. I don't know if you've watched a lot of Hitchcock now.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen all of them. And if you've seen a lot, you can disagree with me, because I'm very willing to back off this. But I feel like we've seen all of the things that were inspired by Hitchcock now. And I wouldn't even say they've necessarily improved upon it, but it's almost like you're watching it and you're like, this feels derivative, but it's not. Because it is the thing that started this.
Yeah.
But since you're watching it chronologically after all the things you saw that were influenced by it, it's kind of hard to appreciate it. And you're like, and it's slow.
Yeah.
You know? But do you disagree? Do you like it?
No, I agree with you 100%. There's not a single one that I'm like, oh, I need to watch that again. I recently, I'd never seen Citizen Kane on a big screen, and it was playing.
Great example.
And so I went to see it, and I thought this must have blown people away, just for the fact that the story is told out of sequence, and the acting is very natural, and a lot of the film technique. But also, I couldn't have put anybody else through that. I couldn't recommend it and say you have to see this because it's so. And also, once you know the twist at the end, it loses a lot. So the first time I ever saw it, and it was on VHS on a small TV, I was blown away. But I've just seen a lot since then.
Beautiful.
But he dug a hole and put the camera in the hole to get that angle. That's what you need someone sitting next to you saying all of those little things. And then you appreciate it.
Yeah. No, totally.
Well, Gary, Thank you so much for being here.
This was a pleasure. I've been looking forward to this.
Frickin' joy.
We've been looking
since
forward
you-
to it more.
Thanks for listening. This has been But Also with Michael and Asher and Gary Gulman. You gotta like it. You gotta subscribe. You gotta fucking, just would you please? Would you comment? Would you do that for me? And we're recording at Sweet Tea Studios. Goodbye.